everybody. Welcome back to the Momotivated Podcast. Today is episode 5. For today's episode, we are going to be discussing challenges that women face on a day to day basis and how we can overcome them. I have goosebumps while I'm saying that, if you can notice, but we have Brinda. She's a social activist. I'm going to move on to her very quickly. She's very special to me, you guys. But I have goosebumps all over my body, literally. Welcome. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Rinima, and more motivating team. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. So, I know you so well, and I'm going to give a backdrop of how I know you and everything. But before that, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Brinda Adige. I'm an active citizen, but I also go by activist. I'm a mother of 2, and we are 4 siblings. And I'm passionate about what I do.
I'm passionate about what you do. You make me feel safe and secure. And I'm going to tell. So, before I even move on, let me tell everybody how I remember you. So, I'm 34 today. I met you when I was 21 years old. I don't even remember the year that was, but we met in a talk show in TV9. It's one of the news channels in Bangalore, I guess. It's a local channel, right? So I think, the incident was very simple. I was eating in KFC, and the KFC manager took a picture of me because I was wearing a short dress or whatever. And then, this kind of went to the media, and then we had a talk show. And oh my gosh, a couple of things that you told on that show just changed me and shaped me to be a better lady today. So thank you so very much. I owe it to you.
Always.
Alrighty. So, you said you're a social activist. We all love the word because we know what it means. Do you want to throw some more light and kind of say in layman terms, who is a social activist and why did you choose to be one?
Well, I don't know if a social activist would describe me. I consider myself more an active citizen. And yes, today everybody calls this person who challenges the status quo, questions the powers that be, is not afraid to throw back something that they don't like to whoever it is that threw it back. And so we are called activists. So yes, here I am. So I'm not just social activist. I think I am a very political person because women are political people. For too long, we've been relegated to being everything except political. 1. 2, I also think that being an active citizen means we participate, we are there in everything that concerns us. Right. And no decisions can be made either by my family, our families, or by the government or the elected representatives for women if women are not there. Right. Women know what we want best for ourselves. So that said, much of my work revolves around human rights, but with a very, very special focus on children, women, and the Dalits. Of late, we've also started looking into cases that come of senior citizens, which I think is growing by the day. We have a small office in a slum called LR Nagar, where we focus on education of children. We believe that if children, women, boys, men, trans persons, everybody is educated, not just getting literacy, but educated, understand what their rights are, and realize that they are the best to make decisions for themselves and not let others to dictate terms to them. So that is the kind of work that we are doing at this place and in some of the districts in Karnataka. Our organization also works against human trafficking. For flesh trade, human trafficking happens for bonded labor and for a host of other things. So we do the rescue, we are into prosecution, prevention, so we create awareness to create safer villages, environments, safer homes, and we address issues related to gender-based and domestic violence.
It's so unfair that you do so much and we club it to just 2 words called a social activist. So I think that was so important for me to that is why I started with that question. I mean, you do so much for us, for children, for, like you said, senior citizens now, for the Dalits. I mean, you just make me proud. I wish like I'm not doing enough. I think the difference between you and I is I am intentions and you are actions. Like I only think of it and that, oh my God, I want to do this, I want to make this, and you really do it. Like actions over intentions. I feel.
I don't agree with you, Rinima. I think each of us is doing to the best of our abilities, our knowledge, and our passion. And that said, I'm happy to do what I am doing. I like what I'm doing. And I'm sure you are in the same position where you love everything that you do with this podcast and all of it that is creating awareness for people everywhere. They get to know more, which I'm not able to do. So I think each of us, God has placed us, and it is up to us to make the choice and decision to utilize all of those opportunities.
Right, I agree.
And do the best for
That we
people
can.
less privileged.
I completely agree. I think we are off to a good start. That brings me to the next question. I mean, you started this. I'm rolling over very quickly because it's related to what you just mentioned, and you spoke about how you want to educate people about their rights, because it's not just literacy, their rights, right? So on that note, what do you think are few rights that every woman should be aware of?
Any right that a woman can think of is her right. Let no woman be under an illusion that this right doesn't belong to me. You have the right to freedom. And you know that freedom is something that you ought to do. That it's not something that you all, want to do and you're selfish. Use that freedom and don't let anybody take over it. You have the right to choose what you think is best for you. And we human beings might make mistakes with our decisions, but that's okay. That's what life is all about. But can you move on from that mistake? That is your biggest challenge, and that's your biggest accomplishment, to move on. So that's your right. Yes, you also have a right to live a life without any form of violence, any form. Emotional, psychological, social, political, sexual, economical. You think that this is a violent, aggressive act or an experience, and you don't want to be part of that, you don't want to be victimized on it, yes, that is your right. It doesn't matter what other people think. Because for too long we've been told in this patriarchal society of ours that women must be in a certain manner. In fact, much of our texts, religious texts, usually say that a woman must be seen but never heard. So we as women have internalized these patriarchal norms and conventional do's and don'ts. And even though we know it is wrong, we don't really want to shatter it or break it.
I know. I mean,
That's your right.
I feel like I'm preaching this with you today, and I feel like I'm guilty myself. Because, while growing up as a girl, I feel like I have been touched inappropriately by my own uncles, by my neighbors, by my dad's best friends, So, and I kind of never, by my cousin brother. So I have never spoken about it, or for the longest time, I kind of, the thoughts that go through your head when all of this thing is happening is, how do you go home and tell your mom that your brother or my dad that your friend has done this to me? Because I'm afraid that maybe the relationship is going to break. What's going to happen? Because as a 15-year or a 14-year-old girl, what else do you think, right? So how do we overcome that?
I can understand all of these feelings that, go through every girl, every woman. But I would like to say that even before you want to go and share it with somebody, you be convinced that what has happened to you is wrong. It's not your fault, ever. And don't be guilty. And you stand up and raise your voice then and there. Maybe your relationship will break with that particular person because we know surveys and research shows that over 85% of all forms of abuse is done by people known to us, people close to us, people we trust, people we have confidence and believe in. And that is what stops us from retaliating.
I agree, yeah, because you have like such a, I told you I'll need tissues, and I have kept tissues. I mean, it's true, because I think when like it happens within your own like circle, then it's so difficult. I think first of all, we kind of tend to process that you trusted this person because he's your family member, or he's like, you see them every day, is your neighbor, right? And it's so difficult to break that. But yeah, I think the whole purpose of this is to kind of say that, like you said, it's wrong and it's okay to speak up about it regardless of the consequences or the repercussions with that person, because you are not at the wrong, the other person is.
And so the first thing is to raise your voice and say, no,
Yeah.
don't do it.
Yes. Yes.
I don't like it. And if you continue, then I
Yeah.
have to do something that's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
I mean, be firm.
Yes.
What the other person thinks about you is immaterial. It's important that you believe in yourself and say that you're strong enough to tell this person, I will not take this.
Yeah.
I will not take this humiliation, this insult,
abuse.
this guilt,
Yeah.
and this abuse.
Yes. And I think, that's the whole point. If I feel like if someone is not strong enough, then you have them. Like, just reach out. If you're not able to call it out, like, you guys can help, can't you? Like, you can induce that confidence. You can talk them. You can counsel them. Like, there are people who can help them get out of it. Because I know that no matter how much we say this today, it took me so many years to get here today and speak about it. I mean, and I'm being as realistic and as pragmatic as I can. I feel like it's going to inspire them for a few minutes, and then again, they're going to go back to that bubble of like, so what? So that's when I feel it's so important to seek out, to reach out to women like you, I feel, who can guide them in the right path and talk them in the right way.
Yeah, that's why I said, speak up.
Yeah. Only then can you help.
Only if you speak up, only when you ask for that support, will you get that support. Yeah? Because until and unless you want that support, nobody's going to volunteer it and say, here, I'm there, I'm going to give you the support, whether you like it or not. Because it's not going to be helpful to that person. So learn to ask for the support. We are all very strong people. It's just that sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. And sometimes we don't believe in the people around us. And most often, we are worried about what other people will think about us. And I think that is something we need to move out from, that space. What is important is, what do you think about yourself?
Yeah, that's such a good point. Because, I thought I was a bad girl because all of these guys were doing that to me. And I felt like maybe I am like kind of giving away, like, in your head, you were like, why me? Maybe I'm a bad girl. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm giving out some kind of energy, like stuff like that. So you question yourself, and I worried that if I go ahead and say this, what if people ask me, how come it didn't happen to me? How come all of them are doing it to you? You know what I mean? So that kind of fear, but I now realize it's so stupid what I did. And I'm so proud that I'm able to talk about it today with you.
The other thing that we must remember when people ask these questions, Rinima, why you? There's so many other women, so many other girls, and why only you? So probably you provoked, lured. Remember, all of these words are excuses for that perpetrator, because of this patriarchal, chauvinistic, misogynistic, sexist mindsets. They want to find a scapegoat. And they want to abuse the power that they have. At the end of the day, it is not that, oh, you're so attractive, so I got attracted. You don't abuse me if you're attracted. Oh, you provoked me. I cannot provoke you. You have enough strength to resist whatever it might be. Oh, you tempted me with these clothes. You just have to close your eyes and you will not be tempted. Keep your hands to yourself. The power that they abuse. So it's not any of these things. Because if you really love that person, you absolutely respect that person.
And you don't do things like that.
Yeah, and then you ask for that person's consent. Yeah. But certainly no consent if this person is less than 18 years old. No consent. That's abuse. But anybody who's a major, ask. She says yes, well, enjoy.
fun.
If not, move on.
Yeah.
Move out.
Find somebody who is consensual.
Absolutely, yeah. Don't let your fragile egos be broken and say, how dare she, refuse me, everybody wants me and then so-and-so rejects me, does not even feel grateful that I got attracted. Sorry. Love lies in the beholder's eyes, and that person decides whether they want you or they don't want you. So don't allow them to have this power over you. Hold on to your power, believe in yourself, and absolutely don't give in. It just doesn't matter if you don't have friends like them.
Yeah, never again. But thank you very much. So the next question is about our own clan and kin. So, there's a lot of women who supports women. I have wonderful friends who are women, who uplifts me. And then at the same time, there are also women who do not uplift each other, right? Who does not support each other. So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, I talk about it very often, but I really want to hear what you have to say about that.
See, like I told you in the previous question that you asked me, it is power. Yeah. Power is with everybody, and everybody either uses it judiciously or misuses it. But one thing we need to remember is women have internalized patriarchy. Patriarchy even today continues to say a good woman is. So,
yes. Yeah.
Now, who does not want to be known as a good woman?
Somehow feel I want to be a badass one.
So the number is absolutely minuscule.
True.
Who doesn't? If you are this good woman, you will go to heaven. Who does not want to go to heaven? Yeah, so we can't blame women all the time because of this. And that is why it is important for women to introspect, reflect, unlearn all of this wrong stuff that has been filled, that continues to be filled into our heads on a daily basis. All the advertisements, the dialogues that come in the films and the TV serials, all of that reiterates patriarchy.
I agree. I mean,
and chauvinism, sexism, misogyny,
Right.
everything. Look at any advertisement. I mean, all of that does that only. And many women like to be in that ambit of good.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah? They don't want to topple the apple cart. They do not want to be known as someone who's a difficult woman,
Opinionated, talks too much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and doesn't respect. So they always bring in that word saying, does not respect elders, doesn't respect husband, doesn't respect father, doesn't respect this. And then this woman abuses her power to talk
down
or
other women,
bring down the other woman.
Yeah.
Comment about the other woman's clothes, her walk, her makeup, her hairstyle, the way she cooks food. How does it matter? You talk about this other woman, your bank balance isn't going high, yeah?
Not at all.
And you don't get peace of mind anyway.
Nor are you getting prettier.
And absolutely, not that it matters. How does it help you to put down the other woman? No way, it doesn't help you. But somewhere your insecurities, your low self-esteem is being boosted for a few moments. And then, of course, it breaks, the bubble breaks and fades.
And you're back to square
So
one.
back to square one. So it is important. We run a program called Transformative Leadership for women. And this transformative leadership must be with values.
Right.
So women have always seen men as leaders, and they have seen these men being domineering, aggressive, violent, insulting, humiliating. And they think that you will become a leader if you follow so-and-so person. But what you are doing is just reiterating patriarchy and aggression. Women are nurturing, compassionate, inherently somebody who loves peace. At any given point of time, no matter what arguments or what fights are happening, they always want to make peace. Yeah? You say, okay, leave that, give in, so what? Women are inherently peacemakers. And this is already known probably by a lot of men. And they said that if women take up these leaderships, then what will happen to us? We'll be relegated to the sidelines. So let's feed in all of this lies. Manipulate. And you have women doing these things. So it is important for us women to also have the gumption and the courage to stand up to women or to men or to anybody other person who bullies. Because at the end of the day, it is bullying. Don't let anybody bully you.
Agreed, man or woman. But please do support each other.
Absolutely.
I mean, we can't expect that from the other gender when we're not doing that to ourselves, right? We together are going to take over the world, women. Okay, so the next question is kind of like, it's very personal to me as well, and the reason I say that is because it's about domestic violence. It's one of the most pressing matters, has been happening, still happening, and I don't know how long it's gonna go on. I have been through it myself, 3 different relationships, 15 years in total, and I think finally I have learned how to protect myself and take care of myself against it, but I want you to kind of throw more light on it. Everyone knows what it is. So we are not even gonna talk about it and give it that space to even discuss something like that, but we are more worried about what are women's ways to get out of it, one, and how one should want to get out of it. I think let's talk about that as well.
I'd just like to go over this. Many women still do not understand what are the various ramifications of domestic violence. Because many times, like you pointed out, women think, did I provoke?
I did myself. Guilty.
And what's the need for me to ask for clarifications? Because it's only going to make the entire argument even worse. Right. So let's kind of push it under the carpet and remain silent. But we need to understand that violence, which is domestic inside my home, either by my husband or by my family members, other members in my family. It could be from anybody, but usually it's from the husbands and spouses and partners. It is emotional. It begins with that. Then it is psychological. Then it is physical. It could be economical, but it is also sexual. And in our society, a partner or a spouse or a wife feels that she can never say no. I don't want to have sex with you today.
I know. Why is it such a big thing to say? Like,
of course, they will have these questions from the other side saying, you're my wife, you're my spouse, you're my wife. What else are you here?
Are you attracted to someone else?
Exactly.
Like, that's the first question that comes out of their mouth. Like, you don't love me. You're not attracted to me. No, I'm just not in the mood tonight.
Yes. If men can have moods, then why not for women? Women also have moods, yeah?
I know, of course, we all do.
We don't pack it up and keep it somewhere and come.
But in fact, the signs say we need more pleasure than men do, by the way.
Yes, because we are the procreators, you see.
Yes. So, there you go.
Yes. And that, I think, is probably another insecurity that men inherently feel.
Right.
Anyway, that said, don't allow for this even first time. Oh, this just happened because his boss scolded him in the office.
And he's bringing frustration back home.
He's been in traffic for 2 hours. He lost his mobile phone.
Don't make excuses for them.
Don't make excuses. Yeah. No excuses. Yeah. Because you need to ask yourself, can you make these same excuses to him? Is it acceptable to him? If it is not acceptable to him,
why is it
it's not acceptable to you too.
Yeah.
And this violence, you stand up and tell this person that you will not take it. Again, girls are conditioned to only defend themselves, never to attack. So it's important, attack. If there is somebody trying to beat you, hit you, learn to attack.
I know.
Why would you say, I don't want to attack? And if you think you're stronger than him or her, and you might hurt the person even more, so be it. I'm not condoning violence in any which way.
Right.
But if you have to protect yourself,
yeah.
Learn to also retaliate.
Of course.
It's okay. It's just okay because your life is so much more precious. So much more.
Of course, it's your life. You have to.
And your life is as important as the other person's. Don't be afraid to talk about it. Talk about it in any which way that you want, any language that you want to use. It may not be whole, intelligent sentences. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just say it. In phrases, in words, in your silence also, but have somebody that you want to go and talk to.
Yeah.
And go and talk to that person. Sometimes you might make a mistake of talking to a person who is not empathetic, but that's okay. Remember, psychologically, you have already crossed that first step to speak up.
That you're going to do something about it.
Yeah, you opened. Not you are not suffering that violence of silence.
You're not going to be a victim anymore.
Yeah, because being silent is also very violent on yourself. You want to break it and you want to move out of that space. So even if you've spoken to that person, don't get upset because everybody is not a good listener. From there you say, okay, this person may be going through other things.
I didn't get it. I'll talk to
somebody else. And if you have nobody, please go on the net. You will find umpteen numbers
of women rights associations.
Yes.
And that's what I did.
And just call.
And you know what? I have to speak about it. I told you, right? 7 years. And then I reached out. I went online, but then there was an HR director from my company who kind of suggested Vimochna, which is a women rights association. And my life changed because the way I think an association like that are so sensitized, first of all, because I think the first thing they do is make sure that you are okay and that you are not at wrong. Like, I think that kind of validation from women, like, because they're all women like yourselves who kind of make us feel like, oh my God, finally, like seeing it in the right way, right? So I think it makes so much sense, and that's where I was getting at. Like, we all know that this happens, and I think there is help. There is women's rights. All we have to do is reach out. I think the problem, though, with most women is they take it for so long. I think it's not that we don't have people to help us. I don't think we want that help for the longest of times. That is so bad on ourselves. I don't know why we do that to our own
It's
self.
not that they don't want that help, but then they have been given, that messaging that comes to us from all kinds of media, including our family. You pray.
Oh my God,
you fast. You do Urli Seve. You climb that hill and come down. This man will transform and change.
Your love will change him.
We need to remember, I can change only when I make up my mind to change.
Also, it's not my job to change somebody.
Yeah, but even if that somebody wants to change, you fasting and you walking up and down.
He should be fasting and walking up and down.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Why am I fasting?
So that messaging has gone into them and they feel that, they haven't been capable enough to influence change in this other person. Right. So in a way, I would like to think that this woman considers herself an influencer, which she is. But remember, you're trying to influence somebody who's gone past the goalpost and keeps changing the goalpost every time to suit that person. Anything that you do is not going to change that person unless that person makes up his or her mind to change. So I would suggest influence yourself, strengthen yourself to say, okay, I think we need an arbitrator, a third party, who can now help support whatever I'm going through and thinking. Is it right? Am I on the right track? Yeah. And what more can I do?
Yeah, I'm all for it. Because it has, like I said, I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for an arbitrator, and I'm forever grateful for that. But yeah, thank you so very much for talking about it, and just reach out, ladies. Like, there are people, you just have to reach out. I mean, yeah, please reach out. I can't stop saying it because I wish I reached out way sooner, and since I'm like a person who has been through it myself, I can imagine all the thoughts that women would have thought about, oh my God, am I like, is he gonna die if I complain? If I put an FIR, it's his corporate career. What if he never gets a job again? Or, I can't believe that we are so nice that despite somebody putting us through so much, your woman just thinks so positively about the other person. Like, God definitely loves us more and made us this special, because otherwise we would not be able to think
I
this
think
way.
we are very, very lovable
We are.
people.
We are.
And it's important that we love ourselves and learn to love ourselves. even more.
100%. 100%. If God loves us so much, what does it say? That we should love ourselves that much as well. Love yourselves, ladies. All right, so moving on a little bit from I'm going to be less selfish and move on to another marginalized community, that's children, who needs our help, who we need. And I know that you have been actively involved in it. So do you want to talk about it a little bit?
Sure. Yes, the child protection helpline called Makkala Sahayavani. I pioneered it in 1997.
Yay!
In fact, when I thought about this, I went to different government offices and discussed it with the persons who can make those decisions. Right. And almost everybody said that something like this, a helpline for children, will not work in our country. Why so? But then my last stop was the police commissioner. So I walked into his office, and at that time it was one Mr. L. Revanasiddaya. I spoke to him and I said, this is an idea I have, and I'd like you to start this. And I was praying, of course, toes, fingers, except the eyes, everything crossed, waiting, what is he going to say? After about 10-15 seconds, he said, I'll just call in all my other senior officers. Can you describe it a little more to all of them? And
How
I
nice.
thanked my God.
I know.
And when those senior officers came, I said, this is what my idea is. A helpline for children in the police commissioner's office. So they heard me and I said, how this helpline must function, what it would do, and all of that. Then they said, but you see, why do you want to have it in the police commissioner's office? I said, but you are the protectors. And I think this is the best place for you to have it. There's been a lot of wrong information that's been given that children must be scared of police. And I think that we need to move out of that zone to say, police are friends of children, and any child in any kind of distress and crisis can take the support of the police. And maybe everybody can't come to you in person, but they can call you over the number. So then we discussed with a lot of other voluntary organizations. And I must mention Kavita Ratna from the Concern for Working Children was a staunch supporter of this idea. And we discussed this again because we had to go through it. Now it's coming into
Execution. So
execution and existence. So a lot of nitty-gritties and logistics, which worked well with us because of the police. A couple of organizations, of course, power. Right. They boycotted, saying that, what is this one going and starting helpline with the police? Children are afraid of the police and this and that. So the police commissioner then said, Brinda, if it doesn't work, what do we do? I said, nothing, you close shop. Yeah. But on day one, the home minister at that time inaugurated. On that day, we received about 65 calls. Of course, a lot of the calls were, if I call, will you respond? So that confidence, I think, is something that we gave on that first day.
Right.
And after that, of course, there has been no stopping. The government of India has taken it up. And they made it Childline because Makkala Sahayavani is very colloquial for Karnataka, and they wanted it for something across India, so they gave it that name. But of late, we understand that it might probably not be with the voluntary organizations, the NGOs who run it, because in 2006, it moved out of the police commissioner's office. I moved out from there. I went on to do higher studies, whatever that means, anyway. And today we understand that this helpline might be with the home ministry, and a central call center responds to the calls from children, which we social workers and activists do not think is a great idea, because you need to extend the confidence and the trust to the child in our voice and in the kind of conversations that we have with children who call us on that number. And that we haven't seen with people who are call center trained. Let's hope for the best. I don't know what's happening. But again, children and their parents and others who want to protect children must remember that there are a lot of NGOs that would continue to extend this kind of support and help to children. And we are Digital India, so just go up onto the net and check for those numbers. Yes.
So, the next question is a little personal to you. I mean, you have done so much for so long, right? Have you seen any change?
Yes, I have.
I went right into it.
That is my only, what should I say, pride, consolation.
I see you glue when you say that.
Yes.
When you said, yes, I have, you do really glue.
There are frustrations, of course, and there are trials and tribulations. I would not call any of it as a failure. It's just a learning. Because something we didn't do correct, a decision that was not okay. But then you learn and then you move on and then you say, okay, we did better because we made a mistake there. But what has been my most, what should I say, learning, happiness, accomplishment?
I would say achievement, which you felt like you went in with that motive to help somebody, with a cause, and you see that cause over the years has flourished and kind of you see it happening the way you envisioned it.
Oh, Rinima, there are too many causes.
Oh, I love to hear. I love the sound of that.
What isn't a cause? If there is aggression, if there is injustice and exploitation, and somebody is just throwing their weight around because they think they can, and you come across that, somebody like me, like I said, I never start a fight, but if the fight comes to me, I would always end it. And what I have noticed in this journey of mine is there are a lot of people out there willing to support and walk along with you, stand beside you. We might be very prejudiced, saying, will that one help? Will she help?
You'll be surprised.
But the surprise, and the surprise that is so positive. You get support from all unexpected quarters.
I agree.
And then you say, yes, Providence and the universe is working. And at that particular point and moment of time, you tell, Providence is working for you. Everything is just falling into place. When a couple of minutes ago, or probably a few days ago, there were so many doubts and concerns, and then the universe just puts everything together. So you just have to move out. Go out there and say, you will do it. You must do it. And when you do not have the selfish thoughts, you have thoughts of including people, encompassing people, and I think there's always a success there. There's always accomplishments. One particular instance I want to share is, like I told you, we do this program called Transformative Leadership with Women. And we did it in 2012 with a group of women from the slum where we work. And people started saying, this is transformative leadership. How will you talk to these women? And most of them have only passed up to class 5. And I said, then that's the challenge, for us. Right. If I can talk to BA and PH, MPhil and all that, then that wouldn't be a challenge. The challenge is here to see how these women, who are anyway leaders in their own spheres, now learn to become better leaders, stronger leaders. So we ran this program through. And in this program, of course, we talk about the laws that protect women, the Domestic Violence Act, laws related to property, laws related to sexual harassment at the workplace or probably anywhere out on the streets. Because these are laws, one must understand, are very, very pro-women. No longer will the police ask, give me a witness. Yeah. You don't need a witness now. You make your complaint and that's your testimony, and it's the job of the police to investigate. Yeah. So these were all the laws that we have created awareness with them. And we are a very small organization. We spread ourselves very thin on a daily basis. All of us are firefighting, rescue here and there. So this particular day, there were two women sitting in our office in the slum. And we always have this slum office open, and somebody has to maintain and look after. Children come in to study over there, so you need an adult to supervise. So this woman is now narrating to me. It is her turn to, look after the office there. And she says that a woman came in a car, and she came to our office and said, I want to talk to the social worker. So this lady said, all of them will come only after 5:36 because they've all gone out somewhere. But tell me if there's some way I can help you. Now, this one was a well-dressed woman. And, this lady in the slum, she's just come back from her work where she was doing domestic work, and she's come back. And so this lady was like, no, you won't understand. So this lady, the lady from the slum says, okay, what will I not understand? That you're not happy, you're not at peace, your husband beats you, and you don't want to share about it and talk about it to anyone? And this lady apparently sat up and said, yes, it's all of that. So this lady gets into her own and says, okay, tell me your complaint. I will listen. I don't know to write, but after I listen, there is a book here. You must write it in that book. Because it's a chronicle that we maintain in our office. Whoever comes there will look at that chronicle and see what has to be done. Yeah. Or the emergencies that one has to attend to. So after this lady spoke, this other lady of ours, I will call our lady who is sitting there as lady number 1. Okay. And the one who came there with the so-called concern and complaint, lady number 2. So lady number 1 says, okay, now you have to make up your mind if you want to file a police complaint. So this lady said, no, he is the superintendent of police, so nobody will take my complaint. I have been complaining for the last 15 years. So she said, no, you make up your mind that you want to complain, and we will get your complaint registered in the police station. And this lady said, yes, I want my complaint. So she said, okay. So now first tell me, what's your first complaint? She said, my husband's locked me out of my house. 3 days I have been living around with my friends, but now I don't have any more friends to go and live. I want to go back into the house. So now this lady says, okay, is that your house or his house? Yeah. So she said, it's my house, it's my quarters, because she is also a government servant. Okay. So she said, then we'll just go into your house. So she said, no, he won't let you. She said, you want to go into your house, no? So we'll go. So this lady calls 5 other women from the area, and they said, come, let's go. So all of them bundled themselves
so
into
she has handled it alone.
Into the car, and they all go to that house of hers. When they go there, this lady says, you knock the door. So she knocks, and the husband apparently opened the door and said, you, why did you come in? And all the ladies pushed her and everybody, and the whole lot of 6 of them went in. And he said, I'm going to call the police, I'm going to call the police. So we're talking of, 2012, you had those small Nokia button phones, no? And so this lady said, call, because I don't want 2 rupees of mine to go. You call. So he called.
Oh, the audacity.
By then, all of them made themselves comfortable over there. And he said, no, this is trespass. You can't come into this house and you can't sit over here. And these women said, but we are her friends. She
This is
asked us
her
to come
house,
here,
yeah.
and she says that it is her house.
Yeah.
But maybe she's mistaken. If it's your house, we will go. So he kept quiet and he said, I'm calling the cops. They're coming now. So 2 cops came. And when the cops came, all of these women told these cops what this woman has been going through and that she wants to make a complaint. But these cops said, we can't, you come to the police station. So this man said, I don't come to the police station. So these women said, doesn't matter, we will go. So all of them went to the police station, and they went there and they told the sub-inspector, you need to get that man now. Otherwise, we will go and talk to TV. Yeah. So this policeman said, no, we will get him. And they made the telephone calls, everything. In the meantime, lady number 1 has been telling lady number 2, the sub-inspector will tell you many stories.
Right. She's been prepping her.
You
Against,
just
yeah.
say, I want to file a complaint. Right. He will say, but your husband is a very big man. So you say, I want to file a complaint. So he said, but he will also say that your children will hate you once you file this complaint. You listen to him and say, I want to file a complaint. So she said, I said this 15 times. So they go there. And she's, of course, all of this acted out exactly like how the lady number 1 told. And in the end, he filed a complaint.
Bravo.
Got the FIR done. Late in the evening, around 8 p.m., I didn't go to office that day. I had come home straight and I switched on the TV, one of the Kannada channels. And suddenly in the news, I can see all our women from the slum. And I said, oh my God, what's happening? I don't know what happened over here. And then I heard the news reader saying that something like this happened there, and all these women helped this woman, whose face they did not show, file a complaint. And I think that was my happiest day to say, we've created leaders.
Oh my God. I don't know if you can see my legs, but I have been having so many goosebumps. I've been having, my mic
So
is
we'll
off.
warm it up.
Yeah, oh my God. What will we do without people like you?
No. As a woman, we just have to tell this other woman, you have so much strength and potential.
Then you think.
Just help the other person. It doesn't matter economic strata, because the lady who came there was quite, okay, what will you do? What can you do? But everything that was done by these 5 women. Of course, this one woman who listened to her patiently. And these leaders that we want to make, leaders with values, women who will not judge the other woman, irrespective of her economic status, her academic qualifications, whatever it might be, just that she needs help.
Yeah. One woman to another. That's all.
And that's the leaders that we've created.
Congratulations.
And that's the impact.
Yeah.
I'm always very, very proud to share this particular instance.
Right.
I have, of course, several other instances.
Right. No, I'm very glad I asked you that question.
But this one tops the list.
I know. I can see you talk about it, and I can see it on your face how happy this makes. And this is like I said, it just makes it's such a nice feeling to know that doesn't matter where the woman is. Like, if you really want to help and uplift, you truly can, regardless of anything that you said.
And don't say no to help that comes
Yes.
from anywhere.
Yeah.
Don't say no.
Yeah.
Maybe our prejudice, maybe our lack of proper understanding, our knowledge. But remember, help comes from different places,
Yeah.
from different people,
Seek.
in different ways.
Yeah.
Just accept it.
Yeah, that's what seek and embrace. I think seek and you shall receive, and once you receive it, just learn to embrace it. Absolutely. We don't have to be worried about, oh my God, why is this person helping me? Or what if nobody, this comes from, like I said, most of it is us embracing it. Yeah. It's there. You just have to make up your mind and embrace what's around. But thank you so very much. Yeah. But once again, congratulations for creating such amazing leaders.
Do not be afraid to stand up. Have the courage of your convictions.
Right.
Just have the courage. It's yours. It's your conviction, and so it is important. Doesn't matter whether the other person thinks it's important or not. You are important. Your convictions are important to you.
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, that's so true. I mean, I would rather sleep in peace every night than getting beaten up every night or being abused every night or being mentally, physically, whatever it is. I mean, sleeping in peace is very important.
And don't ever think, oh, I'll be alone.
No.
No.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that is, it's funny. It's like the best life, though, living alone. I don't know why we shy away from it. I was forever afraid. And then I lived alone for 1 year and 8 months. I can't tell
How
you.
can you live alone? You're living with yourself.
Exactly. And it's the best feeling.
And it's not alone. You live in solitude with yourself, and you just learn to appreciate yourself
Yeah.
so much, everything around
Better
you so
yourself,
much.
appreciate, invest all
Yeah.
the time and energy on
Yeah,
yourself.
you do not have to put up a show for somebody
I
else.
agree. I mean-
You do not have to wait for that person to give you a certificate and say this is good, that's not good, and this is okay. And
You can eat at what time, sleep whenever. I mean, guys, please do try living alone. I mean, I loved it. Now I'm married. I think it makes my husband look bad, but you know what I mean. Living alone is great.
no, I just think we need to tell our husbands, our spouses, our partners, because I love myself, I'm so confident
I know.
that I have the space to love you even more.
I know. I mean, I do say this all the time, like, because I love myself so much. I love you because I see you love me. That makes me love you so much.
And people
Yeah.
must remember,
Yeah.
there is no love if there is no respect.
True.
It's just two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, if one of that is not there, especially when you feel that that respect is not there, you want to think again, what are you doing in this space? Yeah. And that respect is yours. It's not a charity that is being given by somebody. It's not benevolence. It's yours. It's mine.
So, I want to go on and on and on with you because, like I said, you make me feel powerful. And I know this it's important sometimes to sit with someone like you, to kind of reiterate and hear it from someone. Because trust me, we kind of claim to be these strong women sometimes. And, oh, my God, we do this. But inside, I feel like I'm not strong enough. But then that's when, like, we need more of these boosters. And so thank you so very much for coming over.
Thank you. I enjoyed this.
I love you. I respect you. I adore you. I appreciate you. I mean, I honor you. I'm so privileged that you're sitting with me.
Thank you so much. I'm so privileged. And yes, I love all of you.
Oh, thank you very much. Guys, we're going to meet you again. I mean, cheers to Brinda. I mean, it's gonna sound wrong that she was my most favorite guest in my podcast, and you can clearly see why. But thank you so much. Tune in. The very sensitive things that we shared today, I hope we can help you. I hope you can receive and embrace that help. But until then, stay healthy, stay happy, and love yourself, please. Thank you, guys.